Hi, welcome. I'm Sophie and this is the Studio SE6. Thank you so much for choosing to practice with me today. So it's a little bit cold in the studio today, so if you notice my purple feet, I've got my special yoga toe gloves on that keep me nice and toasty. Highly recommended if you suffer with cold feet like I do. So today's class, back to why we're here, today's class is going to take us around the mat one way and then we'll reverse the sequence, we'll go around the mat the other way and hopefully end up back where we started. We'll see how we go. It means I will have my back to you for some of the class, so I do apologise. Just listen to the instructions for the left and the right side and hopefully we'll all end up back in the same place. Other than the yoga mat, you won't need any props for this class. There are a few modifications as we go around the mat, so please do take them if you need them. Today's class does start standing, so when you're ready, I'll meet you at the top of the mat. We'll start today standing at the top of your mat, feet hip distance apart, and grounding through the mounds of your big toes, your little toes, and the center of each heel. So you want the feeling of lifting up through the arches of the feet, lengthening through the inner thighs, lengthening pubic bone to sternum, opening up the collarbones and lifting out through the crown of the head. So we're standing nice and tall. Roll the shoulders back and down towards the waist and open your palms towards the front. Relax the shoulders, elbow creases and the fingers. Maybe closing the eyes or choosing to gaze towards the floor. Let's just take a few breaths here just to settle into our space. Take an inhale through the nose, expand the belly. Take an exhale through the mouth. Inhaling through the nose, keep the shoulders still. Exhaling through the mouth, long sigh, letting go of any physical tension. And last one, inhaling. And exhaling, just letting go of any thoughts. And we'll take a few more breaths here, if you can, just in and out through the nose. Otherwise, of course, breathing through the mouth. Just relax the skin and the muscles of the face, relax the jaw. And using each exhale as an opportunity just to let go of anything you're holding on to. And allowing yourself this short time to stay connected with each breath, helping you to stay very much in the present. Just putting any thoughts that come into the mind of what you're doing later today or tomorrow, just putting them in an imaginary box, putting them on a shelf, and you can deal with those later. But for now, we just concentrate on each inhale and each exhale. As you breathe in, move the breath down to the belly, expand the belly. And as you exhale, navel draws gently and naturally back towards the spine. Two more breaths here. And throughout your practice today, trying to stay with this steady, calm breath. With your next inhale, open your eyes. Reach the arms up and overhead, maybe palms together, gaze to the thumbs. Exhale, halfway fold, hands to the shins, draw the navel back towards the spine, lengthen out through the crown of the head, inhale here. Exhale, soften the knees and fold. Keep the knees soft here, we're just warming up, allow the pelvis to fold over the thighs. Drop the bottom back as you lift the chest into chair. Keep your knees back from your toes. Circle the arms all the way around, exhaling. And as you inhale, open the heart towards the ceiling and pull the arms into cactus arms. You want to pull them back, lift the chest, spread the collarbones. Exhale, palms come together. Again, take a halfway fold, hands to the shins. Inhale, lengthen out. And exhale, soften the knees and let the crown of the head fall towards the mat. Inhale, coming up into chair, lifting the chest, draw navel to spine. Exhale, circle around, drop the hips a bit lower before coming up to mountain pose and then opening into cactus arms. Keep drawing the navel back here And last time, exhale, coming through heart center, hands to shins, inhale, and exhale, soft knees and fold. Step the right leg back behind you, lower the knee. Let's come up to crescent lunge. 3 breaths here. Knee and ankle in line at the front. Squeezing that right glute a little and pressing down through the back shin to lift you up and away from the floor. Take a big circle with the arms and back to half split. Tuck the toes at the back, draw the hip over the back knee and roll off the front toes. Really think about length here through the crown of the head, reaching out through the chest. Taking a twist towards the left, so the right fingertips stay underneath the right shoulder, and we open up either arm in a plumb line or hand onto the sacrum. Shoulders slide away from the ears. Circle the arm all the way round, facing the front, and let's take it back to a chair. So rocking onto that front foot, bringing the feet parallel, inhale, lift up to chair. Exhale, circle the arms around, come up to mountain pose, inhale, squeeze the butt a little, open up the chest. Exhale, hands to heart center, hands to shins. Inhale, lengthen out. And exhale, soften the knees and fold. Step the left leg back behind you. Let's come back into that crescent lunge on the other side. So we want to try not to just dump into the hips here. We're kind of pulling our front heel to our back knee. So we're lifting up and away from the floor. Circle the arms around, fingertips under shoulders, and rock back to half split. So just rolling those right toes off the mat. Hips and shoulders are square. So now let's take it into a twist as we open up to the right. So gaze can be to the floor, to the right, or to the top fingertips. And you want to make sure you can still see your fingertips here, so you're not just throwing the arm back. Take a circle all the way around, and again, let's step to the front to chair. Feet parallel. Inhale. Exhale, circle the arms, lift all the way through mountain pose into cactus arms, pull them back, open up the palms, and then exhale, hands to heart center, coming all the way down to the floor, this time with soft knees. Step back to a plank position. One inhale in plank with the shoulders and wrists in line. Lower the knees. On an exhale, come down to the floor. Bend the elbows, elbows point back. Inhale, roll the shoulders around the ears, then slide them down the waist as you come into cobra. The neck is long, reach out through the crown of the head, point away through the toes. Nose comes down to the mat. On an exhale, tuck the toes, press up to half plank, and then lifting your knees, and let's bend the legs a little as we come back to our first downward facing dog, or you can come to child's pose. Really spreading those fingers wide. Gripping with the fingertips just a little. And pressing down through the knuckles of each hand. So from here you can choose to come to the knees and step the right foot forwards to the front. Or we'll lift the right leg into the air. So really reaching out through the heel. The right toes and the kneecap point towards the floor. Try to make sure that you're not rolling that right hip out. So we want the hips as square as you can, the shoulders square to the front. You can always come up onto the ball of the back foot and bend that knee a little. So from here, let's take heel in towards the bottom. We will lift now onto the ball of the back foot just to create a little more space as you bring the knee to the belly, knee to the chest, knee to the nose, flex those toes, and bring the right foot to the right thumb. Help it through if you need to. Coming up into arrow pose, just making sure you're hip distance apart. Stay high on the ball of the back foot. So let's just hover that chest from the front thigh and keep those hips in the center. Try not to let them swing out towards the right. Knee and ankle are stacked, reaching back through active fingers. Swoop your left arm by your left ear. We're turning out to warrior 3, spinning on the ball of that back foot so it turns in just a little. Front knee stays facing forwards in the same direction as the second and third toe. Reaching out again through active fingers. And with your next inhale, lifting up onto the right heel. And as you exhale, spin the right toes to face forwards, take the arms back behind you, and take your weight over towards the right leg. So we want kind of like a half squat position. You can always hop the left leg in just to make the stance a little shorter. We want the heels down, both feet pointing forwards, and make sure that that right knee isn't over the toes. Reach out through the crown of the head. So nice long spine. Keep your shoulders and hips square to the front. And then take your hands down to the floor. And we're going to step that left leg in. Feet are now together. Weight is sinking back. Coming up into chair with the feet together, the heels slightly apart. Squeeze the thighs, and again, just make sure your heels are down and your weight is back of the toes. We're not hanging forwards. As you come up, bring hands to heart center. We're going to come to stand and lift your left knee in line with your left hip. Find a focus point in front. And then we're turning the left inner ankle up towards the ceiling. Keep in that position, sit back into your chair and rest your left ankle on your right knee. Hands can come to heart center, they can rest on the leg. Sink the weight back into the right heel, but stay grounded through the mound of the big toe and the little toe. Standing pigeon. Draw navel back towards the spine, lift the chest. Bring hands back to heart center. Try to keep that right leg bent and step back to that side lunge position, exactly the same as the position we were just in. And then bring the hands down to the floor. We're going to walk it all the way now to a lunge to face the back of your mat. So we're turn on the left foot, so the left foot faces the back of your mat, and spin the right foot round so both feet are facing in the same direction. Let's come back up to warrior 2. So adjusting your stance if you need to here. Sitting that weight in the center. So we want the toes, the back knee and the hip to go in the same direction. And then we rotate the rib cage towards our open side without letting the knee buckle in. And then the head rotates back to look over the front index finger. Sink into that back hip. Reverse warrior 2, take the back hand down the back thigh, turn the front palm over. Inhale, slide down the back leg as you reach up with that top arm. And then maybe take it back a little more, lifting out of the hips. Try not to snap the head back. You can gaze anywhere that's comfortable. And as you cartwheel the arms, we're turning back to a high lunge position. And from here, step back to plank. And on an exhale, lower the knees or take the whole body down all the way to the mat. Inhale into cobra, or pull your body up, hug the belly in, and balance on the hands and the feet in upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. So we'll take the right leg into the air into 3-leg dog, or transition to your knees first. And then come up high on the ball of the left foot, bend the right heel in towards you, and again hug knee to belly, knee to chest, knee to nose, flex the toes, and land that right foot by the right thumb. Coming up into warrior 2, I'm going to face my back to you, apologies. Back into your warrior 2. From your warrior 2 position, taking side angle pose. So we'll take the forearm down so it's upturned on the front thigh, and reach that top arm either vertical or over the ear. Drop the back hip down. If you want more of a challenge, take your fingertips down to the inside of your foot, pushing the hips slightly forward so the bottom doesn't stick out, and then reaching that top arm over the ear. Opening up the chest towards the ceiling or towards the left. And let's circle the top arm all the way around, bring it back to the floor. So we're now walking to your open side. So we're going to continue around the mat. Keep the knees bent here. Turn your heels in just once and your feet out towards the wide corners of your mat. Gather up your hands into prayer. So thumbs are pressing gently into sternum. Your thighs are rolling open. Try to lift the arches of the feet so we're not collapsing into them. Squeeze the bottom slightly as you press the thighs open, knees in the same direction as the second and third toe. Let's lift the arms up, steeple position, or keep them at heart center. 2 more breaths here. Last breath. Hands come to the hips, turn the feet to face the front, and then keeping the knees bent, swiveling on the ball of the back foot, so the ball of the right foot and the heel of the left foot. We come back to a high lunge, everything facing where we started, the front of the mat. Take it back here to plank position. 1 inhale. 1 exhale, coming down to the mat for cobra, or stopping halfway, shoulders and elbows are in line before you press to upward facing dog. Roll the shoulders back and down, lift the heart. And then slowly navel in, pick up the belly, pick up the hips, take it back to downward facing dog or child's pose. So let's take our circle the other way, taking your left leg into the air for 3-leg dog, or transition to your knees. From here, draw the heel in towards the bottom, lift high on the right foot and curl knee all the way underneath the body, coming to a high lunge. When you're there, let's pop it up into arrow pose. Reaching back, active fingertips high on the ball of the back foot. Just hovering that chest from the front thigh, a lightness here in the belly. So we're not just hanging out here on the thigh. 1 more breath here. Inhaling, reach the right arm by the ear. Let's take it to warrior 2. Sinking here into the back hip. You can always adjust your stances to make them shorter or longer, just depends on how you're feeling at this moment in time. Inhaling, lifting onto the left heel, and then exhaling as you rotate to your open side. Let's side lunge to the left foot. So again, you may need to just adjust so that your feet are parallel. Reaching back, tabletop position here, left heel is pressing down into the mat. Take the hands down to the floor, keep your shoulders facing forwards, and let's step that right foot in to meet the left. Squeeze the thighs and come up into chair. Circle the arms around, hands to heart center, and as you come to standing, take your right knee in line with the right hip. So same thing we did on the other side. We're just going to turn the right inner ankle up towards the ceiling and sit back into chair. So we're coming into standing pigeon pose or figure of 4. Drop in the hands if you need to heart center or just to rest on the leg. Keep the chest lifting. Pressing down through the left heel. And then let's try and keep this position and bring the hands to heart center. Unwind the legs and step back into that side lunge position. Bring the hands to the floor And we'll walk it all the way around into a high lunge, so the right foot is forwards, both feet facing towards the back of your mat. Coming up into warrior two. Just take a moment here in warrior two, just to find your stance. Reverse warrior two, take the back hand, slide it down the back leg, turn that front palm over, keep bending that front knee over the ankle, lifting up, vertical or slightly back. Cartwheel the arms, hop that left foot so it's behind its own hip as you come forwards to a high lunge. We're facing the back of the mat now. Take plank position here or rest in child's pose. One inhale, one exhale, vinyasa down to the floor for cobra or chaturanga up dog. And with an exhale, pull the belly in. Nice, slow, steady and controlled. Back to downward facing dog. Take the left leg into the air or transition to your knees. Stay here for a moment, checking your form. Hips and shoulders are square to the front. Lift your chest between your shoulder blades. Lengthen the spine, so if that means bending the right knee a little, then do so to get that extension through the spine. Gazing towards your right big toe. Bring your left heel in towards your bottom. Lift high on the right ball of the foot. Start to curl underneath, and when you're ready, lunge left foot to left thumb. Coming up into warrior two. From warrior two, into side angle pose. Taking that left forearm down to the left thigh without straightening the leg. Take the top arm either open to sacrum, hip, vertical, or over the ear. You can make this harder by taking your fingertips to the floor. Same thing, just making sure that the knee doesn't start to move forwards of the ankle. Energetically moving away from the floor rather than just dumping down into it. So light fingertips. Take the arm all the way back, and we're going to walk it round to the front, so to your open side. Turn your feet, your heels in once, and your toes out to the wide corners of your mat. Start to drop your hips as you walk your hands back. Bring your palms to heart center. So either staying here in this goddess pose or horse stance, or we can make it slightly more challenging, lifting one heel, lifting the other heel, or you can do one at a time. Spread the weight through the balls of the feet, keep your hips low. Maybe take the arms up, steeple position. Keep pressing your thighs open. Maybe start to lengthen the legs, sucking the kneecaps up into the thighs. Come back to that goddess pose, pressing the thighs back. Release hands to heart center, heels to the mat if they're lifted. Hands to the thighs, turn your feet parallel to the front. Hands come down and we're walking it all the way back to where we started. High lunge. And then from here, step back, last vinyasa, step back to plank. One inhale here, choosing a vinyasa or just coming back to child's pose. And taking 3 easy breaths in our downward facing dog. Transitioning to the knees, opening up the knees just a little, keep the big toes together. Take your hands underneath your forehead and just rest your forehead on your hands. And we're coming to the end of our practice now. So we're just taking this moment to find the breath, to slow the heart rate, and to allow the body just to reset to return to neutral. If you prefer, you can have your hands behind you, forehead to the mat, palms upturned, or maybe even just lying on your back, just whatever position is most comfortable for you. And once again, finding the inhale and the exhale, if you can, through the nose. Inhaling down to the belly, allowing the belly to softly and naturally expand, opening the space between each rib on each inhale. And with the exhale, the rib cage, the belly, softening and releasing. I'm going to take 3 more breaths here. And on your third breath, take a long sigh out through the mouth. And let's slowly begin to walk the hands underneath the shoulders and coming to seated. Let's take one last breath in, reaching the arms up, gazing at the thumbs, palms together. Big sigh out through the mouth, hands to heart center. And thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed your short practice. As usual, please leave any comments in the boxes below, and I hope to see you again soon.